That was a stick.
Top 10 companies really look for.
And if you get both off his chart.
It must be him.
Wait.
Yeah. Angela, is that you?
Hey, you! Wait, is that you, Angela?
I need some serious help. Thank God I found you. 7 months ago, we were in a Teams call. You're
The
out
best
on
platform.
LinkedIn, you're popping off.
Hey, you too.
Either. We can go grab-
Yeah, let's go, let's go.
chat.
That's what people do,
Grab
right?
coffee.
Coffee chat, yeah, let's go.
What is this? Oh my days.
They're coming after me. Hello, hello. We're at Hyde Park. We're coming out of the subway. Not the subway. It's called the tube here. Or the underground. I can't say subway. That's giving people weird looks.
Pizza, pizza.
What am I gonna get? I don't know.
We have ordered pizza.
I'm hungry.
Hey, the pizza has arrived. It's the fungi. You're such a fun guy. Fungi. Hey. We're going into the escape room.
Hello, hello.
We are 2 hours behind because we had to reschedule, but it's okay.
Yeah.
So, we completed it. We had like a minute left, basically. It was my proper first escape room experience, I guess, which was in person. Angelo's done one before.
I'm 2 for 2, 100% win rate.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to do an escape room with me, make sure you're good so I don't lose my win rate.
Yeah, I met the bar. Just about. There was a stick, which is impossible to find. We did one of the rooms so fast that almost everything was solved until we had to use a stick. So we tried to roll up a rug instead. But, yeah, so we got it.
Silly him. We were not allowed or supposed to touch the rug.
They kept saying.
They'd give hints, and they kept pushing the automated message where it's like, use the stick and the rope to twist the lock. And he kept using the rope, or he kept using the rug to try to move the lock or the thing. I feel like it's very hard to visualize, but imagine him putting a rug through this little tiny hole and shoving it in there, and his repeated message is being like, use the stick and rope, not the rug.
I was like, kept going. It was like a whole workout. I was like to Angelo, like this. After this, you'll feel. This is after we found the stick, but it was still like a proper workout. I don't work out. Angelo does, so he might not have felt it.
Gains.
These gains. See, they say that in America too.
You don't say that.
Yeah, no, we do.
okay.
Yeah, it was.
And then when we finished it, there was a little hole that you're supposed to climb out of, and his man got jump scared from the guy he worked there. He was like, "You're done. You finished the thing." And I was confused because I can't see, it's dark. And so, because the last message after the door opened, it was like, take the evidence and leave. And so I was gathering all the fingers, putting it in the box.
The guy's just on the floor, like asking the guy at the end, like, do I take this evidence out with me? I was just like, what's going on?
I was like, do I?
You're just gathering everything still.
I took there's a book, there's a diary of the murderer, and I was like, do I take this too? I didn't know there was a guy out there. That's why I thought there was still more to the room, and I was like, we gotta go.
Yeah. To be honest, that was that jump scare. That man was the most scary part of the whole thing. Yeah, because
I thought there was a jump scare throughout the whole thing, except the very end. He was ready.
I was like, no, my name's.
What I've learned so far is that college and university are different.
I didn't even go to college.
You didn't go to college?
No. So there's another thing instead of college as well. If you didn't get the skit at the beginning, Angelo, also worked as a PM intern at Microsoft. So we both met over the summer through that. So we both have ended up in PM. I am a computer science and artificial intelligence student, right? And Angelo is a
Computer engineering major at San Jose State in California.
yes. So yeah, so slightly different degrees, but same career, basically. And we have colleagues who ended up in the internship who were not even in tech roles, so like tech degrees. So it's for me, I like to sort of use that as like evidence and say, hey, you don't have to have a tech background to get into PM. Obviously, though, I do understand that as you get more into the industry, like not as an intern or as a grad, perhaps it's more expected to have that. But in the intern sort of role, the graduate sort of role, you're not really expected because they sort of think you can learn it.
Preferred though. I know that like top tech companies really look for people who come from the technical background because it is very useful to have that background when you talk to engineers, right? When you talk to other developers, and if you're, estimating how a task is going to be done, and you're like way off, the engineers are gonna look at you crazy. You're gonna like, oh yeah, just do this in a few days, and they're like, this is gonna take like a month to do, right? And you wouldn't have that empathy for them if you didn't code before, if you didn't have those technical understandings, right?
You typically have like software engineer, like if you're not familiar with SWE, or SDE, software development engineer, you typically have computer science students only applying to those roles. You will get the exception perhaps of like business students here and there, or perhaps data analytics students or something. But most commonly, like your pool of candidates is going to be from a computer science background. So for us, we also have other candidates who apply from non-tech roles. So it is still like very competitive. But yeah, it's open pretty much, and I feel like I'm lucky to have landed in it. And
Me too, very lucky.
but if you do have the opportunity, like take it. And he says he's lucky, but he's done lots of PM stuff before, so like he's well fit for this stuff, and I think he definitely does deserve it. Like for me, I never did PM before.
Has
so-
done more certificates than I've ever seen in my life, and I will never ever be able to catch up. I won't even try.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
We're on a date. Now we're on a date. Can I drink this?
I wouldn't if I were you. One thing which might be quite interesting to talk about is the kind of problem that we solve as PM. Because like obviously as an engineer, right, if you're choosing between SWE and PM, an engineer might be solving like, how does this button interact with this API, or how does this form work?
How to center a button, because that takes forever sometimes. We don't understand CSS.
It's true. Like if your company's though like never done React before and you're learning React, you might spend a lot of your time just learning how to do this one thing in React. So I love all the SWEs. I love all the SWEs. I used to be a SWE, no longer am.
Now he betrayed you all. He's converted to one of me, a PM. Ban him from Stack Overflow. He doesn't need that. He doesn't need that website anymore.
The thing is, we still code. I don't know.
I don't.
Okay, I still code Autos,
Been on the job.
So like some PMs are able to code like in their job, but like you're not expected to. Like,
Especially in big corporation where they already have engineers. Like you're not expected to code. You're figuring out the what and the why for the product. But maybe for startups, when there's a lot less heads, and they might need more help with the coding and stuff, you can take on multiple hats and start coding. Or like if they don't have enough designers, you can start taking up the design, start using Figma, right? So there's differences in depending on the company, right?
the journey. Think about a customer journey, and that's typically how the decisions about the products get made. And that's where the product manager or program manager sort of fits in, is that you have your customer feedback that say they don't like the speed of the app or the service. That could be a complaint. product manager, program manager probably takes that feedback and then can work with engineering managers or SWEs to figure out, okay, so this is something that needs to be worked on. Or if it's like a totally new product, just perhaps more of the building a roadmap, finding the gap in the market, seeing what can be improved, and yeah, sort of doing a lot of that. And also, I see a lot of SWEs might not really like PMs. Some SWEs do, but like doing the stuff that SWEs don't do, so that the SWEs don't have to do it. Yeah, that's one of the joys.
I like deciding between the two because, believe it or not, I used to be a SWE intern for a startup. And the decision between choosing the two was like, what problems do you want in your life? Because we're all going to have problems. And, you know, within your career, what problems do you want? And comparing the technical problems of being a SWE, of like figuring out how to center a button, figuring out how to use the API, reading through the docs, I did not like that. I enjoyed the end product of building something out and seeing works, right? But with PM, I also enjoy the launch of a product, but I also enjoyed, you know, the problems that came with being a PM, right? Figuring out if something you're building was actually useful, if it's viable with the business that you're a part of.
Yeah.
Like those problems were something that I would rather have compared to the SWE problems.
Yeah, I think if I were to do SWE stuff, it's sort of like the way I do it now. Is I will do it in my free time, or like it would be some other project outside of work, so that I can challenge myself to do something which is a complete product. So like for example, now I'm doing this mixed reality app for like a supermarket. It's like I enjoy that because it's like it's a whole app thing. It's not just me doing like some small part. And I think, yeah, the more you get into the bigger and bigger your organization gets, like Microsoft's 150,000 plus people, 168,000 plus, perhaps the less opportunity to implement a whole system you will have. So if you enjoy doing the full stack sort of thing, then going towards doing SWE might not be what you expect, because you might end up just fixing bugs here and there, doing regressions and things. But who knows? You never know until you try it, and that's why you need to try these things. Like we both tried SWE.
And the closest thing I guess you can to becoming a PM, and I think you are a PM at that point, where like you just, you know, that's why having the ability to code is so useful, because you don't need a team of developers to try to become a PM. You can be a PM encoder for the product that you're building, you know, and while you're figuring out the how, because you're a SWE, you're also figuring out what you're building and why you're building something. And I think that's how I got into PM at first, because when I first was looking into software engineering, I created my own product, but I didn't realize it at the time. I was just kind of doing it as a software engineering project, right, to put it on my resume, like that kind of good stuff. But when I got more into it, I realized there was a problem I could solve within my student organization, and I realized, oh, I can make a website for this. And so that, looking back, I realized that was kind of going through the PM mindset, you know, rather than just like building something. I was trying to figure out how I could make this product useful, and I remember like I would build out this website, and then I would like give it to like a small group of people to test it out, and then they'd give me feedback, and I was like, oh shit, okay, and then I like reiterated it, and then I like fixed it up using my code, and then I put it out again, and like even though it was just me doing it solo and not having a team how it usually is, I guess, with the PM, I still felt like I was able to go through like the whole product development lifecycle, right?
Yeah.
Which was like one of the many ways you can try and be a PM.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. So I would say, like, if you can get a PM job, let's try it out. See if you like it. SWE, there's a lot more openings for SWE, so do like, if you get, I would recommend trying to get a PM, and if you get both offers, try PM. If you don't like PM, then go back to SWE. Sort of thing. Anyway, we've sort of gone on to a tangent.
On and on, we're just spitballing here.